Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a glorious Saturday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. Had a really good Friday watching some aircraft show in our backyard. Actually super cool. If you're familiar with it, it would be similar to like the Blue Angels, which we watched when I was growing up in San Francisco. Super, really cool as a kid and even cooler as an adult because I actually got to see a Eurofighter Typhoon straight up in person. Fucking awesome, man. Dreams coming true. Anyways, with that said, very easy to entertain myself. Anyways, with that said, we got plenty to talk about today on short-term, medium-term time frames. Make no mistake about it, high-term time frames are still very interesting as well, as I do kind of peruse and make sure that I am actually recording. I am. Hey, that's good. All right, we're off to a good start. But I think I'm going to save that for tomorrow's video. So there's a lot of good things going on right there and a lot of very interesting things to be talking about on the macro scale. But I'm going to hold off for one day here just so that we can make it a full-on dedicated video for that. And today's just going to be like short and medium-term time frames. So with that said, into the Krown Chain application we go, which can be found at app.krownchain.net. And it is 100% free, by the way. So you can claim your free account in the description below or not, whatever you decide to do. Anyways, with that said, Bitcoin dominance right around 45.75%, and I would still be looking for a higher low within this region right now as Bitcoin kind of does lead the charge, especially with this infrastructure bill kind of looming overhead, which I believe will be voted on today, Saturday, for those of us in the Eastern Hemisphere of the world. For you in the Western Hemisphere, maybe a little bit later from a time perspective. Also on top of that, Fear and Greed Index popping back above the 50 read, which we are at 52 right now. Technically speaking, it is showing green, which you would insinuate as greedy, but I look at this as more or less neutral. Anything between about 40 and 60 is neutral, and this is actually relatively good as Bitcoin does essentially reclaim a higher term time frame range, which is rather important, and the market is not getting exuberant and irrational on the other side, which is, a sign of maturing market perhaps. A little bit. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves right now, but it is good. Anyways, global funding rate also very inconsequential right here. It's not even 0.01 actually. It is still ever so slightly below that region, which I do consider par for the course and not really any major implications with that. It's not until it actually is about 10x multiple of that at about 0.1%, or on the other side, negative 0.1%, where it does become like a legitimate thing to be paying attention to. But for right now, it's no consideration at all. That's kind of what we do expect, and that is more or less good. On top of that, we do see that global open interest also starting to spruce up here once again as well. I would like to see it make a higher high above what we saw on the July 25th, which was 5.16 billion actually, but we are still maintaining the uptrend right here, and this does suggest that price action is supported, which is more or less good for the higher term time frame. Specifically, this is on top of that, we see both the global exchanges Bitcoin Reserve and the global leverage ratio continuing with their downtrend, which is good if you do want to be bullish, of course, because when did we see an uptrend actually occur in this? That was over here, starting in mid-April to mid-May, of course, and into June on Bitcoin's massive downside move. And same thing over here on the exact same chart. As you can see, big down. Big up, and then, well, go fuck yourself on the other side. On top of that, into the fourth data tab we go. Oh, what's this? Hash rate is starting to increase. Keep an eye on that. Big insight in tomorrow's video. Maybe we'll even spoil a little bit of surprise today. And then also the whale ratio did technically put in a lower high right here, but man, that is inching its way upwards and onwards, which is perhaps the good counterpoint to what I'm saying. Although unfortunately, because we've only been mining this data for the past couple months here, or actually just month going back to May, or no, actually a couple months now, we don't have the foresight or the hindsight of being able to see this for like the past year, which would actually show a lot more interesting results. But I can assure you that there is a good, good interplay between whale ratio number go up and Bitcoin price action go down. But right now we can't really see absolute values for this or historical values, so it doesn't really, it's kind of out of context right now, unfortunately. Anyways, into the price action charts we go. Let's talk about CME first, because CME did close for its weekly yesterday. I said that we won't talk about too much high-term time frame stuff, but this is actually of importance because it will lead into and give us some biases for the short and medium term time frames, especially over the next 48 hours. And what do we see? We saw a beautiful opening closure above the yellow 20-month exponential average, and what do you know? It does have a positive slope, at least for right now, and I imagine that on spot price action, we are about to see about the same thing. I'd really like to see one more week on top of that, but this is going to be in conjunction with many other things, and this is more or less good. On top of that, daily just closing basically as a breakout, which I absolutely love to see right at the end of the day on a Friday, and it's kind of like the opposite. It's like an equal but opposite thing when we talk about downside closures on a Friday. Like a big downside closure on a Friday typically leads to continuation on Monday. This is coming from my experience in traditional markets, which is pretty damn consistent from what I've seen over the past like 10 years now. And typically when you have a good conclusive close on a Friday, whether it be to the upside or the downside, especially above a range or below a range, in this case above a range, you very likely do see continuation into Monday, and well, let's just enjoy for now. How about that? Anyways, on top of that, we see all major move now switching into a bullish posturing, and we do see that daily RSI is going to be getting into the bullish control zone for the first time in a long time. Now, specifically, we did see the first test over here rejected. That is to be expected, actually. This next test in this region over here, this is typically the real one. So I do like this, and for reference, we have not seen this region on CME specifically since April, actually, on this quick rejective region over here. Other than that, for the prior like half year before that, you can see that Bitcoin was very obviously maintaining in there with a with a lot of comfortness, if you will. Anyways, on top of that, we do see daily Joule is perhaps lining up for another continuation hold your long signal, but realistically, this is like, you took your long down around here, and then now you're probably taking a little bit of profit, most likely, or at least that's what I've done. Actually, that reminds me, we should probably look at my testnet account over here. I do want to be open and transparent with this. It is a testnet account. Again, it is not real money, but you can see my positions over here. I'm still holding my $33,000 long, and I will be letting go of that relatively soon, somewhere around about $45,000 based off the analysis coming up soon enough. And if we go over here into the options data tab, I imagine I'm getting marked down on some bullshit. Oh man, I've given up 1.5 Bitcoins in profits on my September expiration. What's going on right here? Hold on. What am I getting marked against? That's a real question. I'm getting marked. Okay, so this is this is marks for sure. All right, September expiration, $200,000 call strikes. I sold a 20 lot for 0.01. And they're getting marked against me humongously, apparently. And actually, I'm offering another 20 right there as well. So for whatever reason, I'm getting marked way against my sell price on that one. Realistically, these are worthless. And unless a Bitcoin closes above $200,000 by September, it's September 24th to be exact, those are worth zero. They are worth nothing, as is, I imagine, most of these things over here. So I expect that those are just marks, those are marks, and those in that like that very likely will flow back into the account. So that is good. Anyways, go to the lower term timeframes now, as I did say that we would focus on today. And what do we see? Okay, so 4 hour right here. Well, Bitcoin did hit our $43,500 target that we overlaid from yesterday's live stream, and also the shorts video a little bit later. Pretty damn easy one right there, tagging right into it. And so far, a little bit of a short-term rejection. This is not anything too concerning to myself. Again, higher term timeframes are taking over right here. We spent about 3 months long consolidating on the lows. It's not really time to be looking at a fucking 5-minute or an hourly or 4 hour for that matter to really like be getting the major moves. So I would be looking for very likely an extension of this pullback, assuming that Bitcoin can close below about 42,000, let's just call it 42,200 on a 4 hour dildo. If we were to see something like that, let's just call it 42,000, easier to say, then I would be looking for Bitcoin to come back down somewhere around 40 to 40,500ish region and try for a higher low. Make no mistake about it, it's still very good right here. I have no major issues with this. This is still very likely to be on upside continuation to our top side targets at about 45.5 to anywhere between there and about 47,000 bucks is fair game. I do suspect without too much effort. And that's where I do start to look for potentially some weakness in price action. And if we are going to have another run at the lows, remember, we do still have a massive gap on CME coming in all the way back from here at about 33,000 bucks, actually 33,500, depending upon where you kind of take it. I would be cognizant of the fact that we've, at some point we probably will come back down and fill around that region. But as I'm going to suggest probably on tomorrow's video, maybe allude to it today, I'd probably be looking at that as a major opportunity. So for whatever it's worth, just take that as you will. And of course, hopefully this just plays into your own analysis of whatever you might be doing. Anyways, go look at momentum oscillators right here. What do we see? 4 hour RSI. Back into the bullish control zone for the first time in a while. However, I would be looking for a test, right around the edge of it alongside the exponentials. We haven't really seen that for a little bit of time here. And then also from a momentum oscillator perspective, we can see not on a 12 hour, but on a 4 hour right here, we are pretty damn high. Now that's not a death sentence in any way, shape or form. That's actually a good thing for the more, medium term move. But ultimately, if Bitcoin does fail dip back down below about 42,600, we will see 4 hour stocks turn back down. Now keep in mind, we actually did break this trend line that we identified on yesterday's video, and that is significant, and that is actually what precipitated the breakout from about 41.5 to 43.5. So you're just kind of following up on that, and not bad. Anyways, 3 hour, I imagine, is a little bit more aggressive than this right now, and yes, it is. 43,000 bucks needs to be maintained, otherwise momentum will turn down right around there. By hourly is going to be showing what? 43,550 actually, so that is actually a little bit above our current price action, and hourly is going to show 43,850 or so. So if I had to guess right now, I do suspect that Bitcoin's probably put in a little bit of a short-term top right here. Might spike it once or twice more, but after that, I'd be looking for Bitcoin, especially over the weekend, to play out a bit of a pullback. Whether it be 40,500 or maybe even a little bit deeper than that. Let's see what another target would be. Anywhere around that 55, which is about 40,000 bucks even, is just another higher low. Make no mistake about it. This is good. And we do see also kind of suggesting perhaps a little bit of a consolidation phase coming up. That 4-hour BBWPR volatility based indicator over here is right at about a 97.22 percentile. So it's pretty fucking aggressive right now. We are at extremes. The only time that we've seen a little bit higher in the more recent history was the 20th of July. And where was this? This was at the high of this rally right here before a nice sideways consolidation. I'd kind of be looking for something relatively similar based off that as well. So perhaps we get one more spike. Maybe we might even test 45,000 bucks before it does get that general pullback. But ultimately, I would be looking for Bitcoin first and foremost to try for a higher low, and that probably is going to be the next opportunity, at least in my opinion. Anyways, go check out the 12-hour right here. What are we looking at? And 12-hour is actually setting up for a golden cross relatively soon. I do like this, not necessarily to play it from where the golden cross actually happens, but when you see a consolidation alongside these major moving averages as they kind of switch around into a bullish posturing, which by the way, this golden cross is not having it's not happening today or tomorrow. It's probably like sometime this next week. What the fuck is that? Jesus Christ. I was making all kind of noise right now. That is going to set in a nice base right around about the $37,000 or $38,000 level right here, meaning that as long as Bitcoin's above there, I'm not looking for any major move to the downside, and I do have like a general bullish bias here. Now, if Bitcoin were to break this area to the downside, let's call it 38,000 bucks, and we kind of been slowly moving it up. It was once 36.5, then 37, then 37.5, now 38. Then I would be looking for that downside move to fill the CME gap from a couple weeks ago, right around about 33,500-ish region. Until that happens, though, I don't believe that is the trade, and I don't believe that is even like a topic of conversation. It's not pertinent to the current price action, although at some point, very, very likely, there will be an opportunity somewhere right around there. Anyways, okay, let's go see what we have from a Gaussian channel perspective, because we haven't looked at this in a while, and let's get off the 12-hour, although it looks good. Daily, very, very interesting right here. We are once again maintaining above it, using the top side channel to actually bounce above. Technically speaking, this probably will get a neutral / positive slope, maybe not tomorrow, but the day after that, Monday, assuming that Bitcoin just remains above about 40 to 41,000 bucks, and that would look, more or less good. I mean, it's better to be green than red if you want to be bullish, of course, but more importantly, the 5-day and actually all the other higher term timeframes have given us a very obvious target right around about 45,500 or so. So looking at the 5-day right there, that's the top side of the channel. By the way, 5-day RSI looking absolutely beautiful right there, bouncing off the exponential after rejecting the bearish control zone. Classic shit on expanding volatility on that time frame. Oh, I fucking love it, man. Looking at the 3-day right here, what do? We held the bottom side of the Gaussian channel. Where's the median band? Right around 45,500 as well. So do we test that area first before playing out a pullback or not? It actually does look a little bit more likely in this case. It does look a little bit more likely. And just as like a quick aside, when you do kind of hold into the bottom side of it, you typically will test the median band. And well, it is very interesting to see confluence between both the 3-day and the 5-day. And what do you know? The 2-day is actually 2-day. No, the 2-day actually closed yesterday, and we closed right at the median band, actually, right around about just under 44,000 or hold on, how high did we get there? How high did we get? About 43,400 or so. Now, technically speaking, it is not closed above the median band just yet, and we do not have a neutral or positive slope on it. But if it can start to do that, you will have somewhat of a technical target towards 48, maybe 49,000 bucks, depending upon where this kind of comes down around or down to round at. I would imagine probably 40, 48 to 47.5 actually, because it's going to take some time, naturally speaking. Anyways, weekly, we just bounced off the top side of it. Now I could bring you a little bit of a sombering detail of this, that anytime that we have bounced off the top side of the Gaussian channel after being away from it for a while, well, that's been the end of your rallies right here, and we're on the wrong goddamn chart. Right here, and not right there, because we weren't away from it for a while, but this one over here, I think it's actually better seen on a 5 days. So I do want to titrate this a little bit. Maybe we end up talking about a little bit more high-term time frame stuff today. But also the 5 days as well. Anytime that we've gotten into the Gaussian channel while it's green, that has been, well, I'll just present the evidence to you. You make the decision for yourself. What do we see over here? Bounce into it. We bounced to the top side of it, and go fuck yourself. What happens over here? Go into it, bounce off the median, back to the top, and go fuck yourself. And what happens over here? Go into it, bounce off the median, and go fuck yourself. And what happens over here? Same thing as well, right? So is this time different? Definitely yes, of course. It's always different, my friends. It's always different indeed. And as we did suggest earlier, or maybe I did miss this one. No, I did not. 45.5 is the topside band. So, do we test that area first before playing out any sort of a pullback? It looks a little more likely than not, but at the end of the day, if Bitcoin does close a 4-hour dildo below the $42,000 level, I would look for the pullback first and foremost, and general target would be 40,500-ish region, anywhere around there. I'd probably be looking for a higher low. If that area fails, I'd probably be looking somewhere down around 39.5 or so. Anyways, with that said, I think we pretty much nailed that one for right now. Let's see what the medium and higher term time frames are actually saying now, just because this video is it's already 15 minutes long. Should we make this one just generally shorter? Yeah, okay. We're gonna save the long-term stuff for tomorrow. How about that? Anyways, 12-hour stocks will be remaining to the upside as long as above 39.5. This was a big sort of a big sort of indication that we were looking at coming into basically like the beginning of this week, because what did we see? We saw 12-hour stocks coming down after the initial rally up to $41,000. But within the context of that, we saw volatility also coming down as well. And when you see that, it's suggesting that downside move is going to be a consolidation. And within the context of this price action, we should be looking for higher lows. And that's exactly what happened right around here. So I feel pretty vindicated on that quote unquote call, although I don't necessarily like to use that verbiage. That Bitcoin is probably going to hold this area and rally back up. Anyways, now we're seeing the opposite thing, which is actually pretty damn good as well. We do see 12-hour stocks up, and volatility is actually expanding right now too, alongside trend continuation and making new highs on the rally. So generally good stuff. And then what do we have on the daily? We do have our first higher low. We have our first higher low, and we have our first higher high. We have a fucking uptrend for the first time in a very long time. And what do you know? We see daily stokes actually pointed back up. They will officially cross and confirm to the upside with any sort of a closure above 41,750 today, which insights another 18 hours, 37 minutes, and 3 seconds. I'm actually curious where CME closed. Closed 42,970, and they will definitely be crossing up because the conditions for that was about 41.5 or so. And then guess what? Guess what else we have? Or I think I already mentioned this, but we have the 21 exponential moving average on the on the weekly Mimi, once again available for all speculators. But hey, it's had a pretty damn good history of this. I'd like to see one more week of this, but generally speaking, good. It's another point on the Bulah's court there. But as you can see, anytime that Bitcoin's been above the yellow 21, and more importantly, it's also at a positive slope, the very important part, because a lot of people do forget that, then Bitcoin's been in a generally macro bullish uptrend, as we saw all the way over here to the downside right around here. So it does work to the downside as well. Same thing to the upside over here, keeps you long the whole way from about $5 to 1,000, and then keeps you long the whole way from 300 all the way to 20,000, or actually no, from to about 11,000, 12,000. Same thing over here, 4,000 to 14,000, and over here from 8,000 to, well, our current all-time highs, I suppose, thus far. So all of that's looking good in the hood. At least for right now. However, I will still present some reservations, as I can still make a pretty damn good case that Bitcoin, has a decent top end for right now. But things are starting to switch around, and there is a major thing that we'll talk about tomorrow. Actually, a few major things. I'm going to present my best case for a Bitcoin macro bottom tomorrow, which has been strengthened a lot, as of recently. And there are several things that I've actually not spoken about on video here. That we'll get into there. Anyways, there's one last thing that I want to get into, and then I'll let you off on your merry way, but that is this. I fucking love talking about this because this is great. All right, so what happened to all the goddamn Dixie fuckers? What happened to all the goddamn Dixie fuckers, huh? I need to know. This has become like the biggest meme because people do not understand what Dixie represents. Look, hey, what's this? Is Dixie rallying while Bitcoin's rallying? That can't fucking happen. Wait, hold on. That happened all the way from January to March when Bitcoin went from 20,000 to 60,000, and Dixie had its massive move right here as well. That's strange. That's not supposed to happen. The dollar bad, Bitcoin good. Dixie doesn't fucking represent the dollar value. It represents the dollar value relative to other, a basket of fiat currencies around the world. So like the big ones, like the yen, pound, euro, that kind of stuff. I imagine. I actually don't know the full specific of it. It's relative to those. So yes, of course it can rally because it just means that the U.S. is maybe printing a little bit less in comparison to other countries that are devaluing their currencies more. That's nothing to do with the other, with the other side of it. It does not imply that Bitcoin must go up if this goes down, and Bitcoin has to go up, or Bitcoin has to go down if this goes up. As you can see, that's just not been consistent within the past, and people are kind of, I think promoting that. They you might want to read the contract specification. You might want to do that if you're going to make like a big meme out of this. But yeah, it is interesting, and it does provide a little bit of insight into what's going on. As if the dollar is rallying, like something probably is happening, but context at the end of the day, so you can have like a nuanced understanding of this now and understand why these sort of situations will happen. And fair enough. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for right now. Maybe we should talk about, or should we talk about this? I don't know. What happens if Bitcoin has just a massive fake out right here and blows through to the downside? I don't think it's happening right now. If it is going to happen, it probably happens after a test back up into the deeper 40,000s. But at that point, no, we did talk about it. $38,000 below there, bad. How about that? Below 38, bad. Above 38, good. Long term. Oh, I forgot to mention this as well. Over here on CMHR, again, several other things kind of confluent with our more, I guess, like mid to deep $40,000 territory targets confluent right here. That would be basically between the 618 Fibonacci retracement and also the 0.5 right here. That's about 45.5. Oh, that number's coming up once again to about 48.5 to 49,000 bucks. You can see also our sort of breakdown level and a massive gap that we had from 17th of May as well. So all of those things, very, very naturally line up with each other. So if Bitcoin were to get there, more importantly, I would be looking for a pullback. First test in that region very likely does get pushed back. And actually, I don't even have it on my chart right now. This is so silly. This is like the one moving average that everyone looks at, isn't it? It's a 200 simple. And where's the 200 simple on spot price action? 45,000 bucks even actually as well. So, very, very likely a bit of a pullback from that region, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. And then I look for perhaps a higher low, or if 38,000 bucks fails, I do look for that gap fill down about 33,000 bucks. And for the information that I'll present tomorrow, I do suspect that there's going to be, very interesting opportunity within that region. I'll just put it that way right now. Of course, this is not financial advice. It's the first thing from financial advice. But with that said, take care. I wish you well, and I salute you.